Amazing. So friggin' good. I mean, I'm not sure if you knew that one before, but before I knew that one, I don't know what I did. What's going on, guys?
Gotcha.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another tutorial. And if you're new to this channel, you'll find the videos here all about creativity and affordability in filmmaking, with new videos dropping every Monday and Friday at 7 AM CST. So if that's something that you're into, consider subscribing. So there's this itty bitty small YouTube channel out there with about 3 million subscribers. Peter McKinnon, you know who we're talking about. But when he brings out a banger tutorial in Premiere Pro, a ton of people are sat there thinking, I wish I knew how to do that in Final Cut, because I edit in Final Cut, but there aren't those tutorials out there. So in this video, we're going to take Peter McKinnon's top 10 editing tips from Premiere Pro, translate them into Final Cut Pro, and they are most likely things that you've never heard of. If you've heard of them, like, just gold star to you. But if you haven't heard of them, let me know in the comments below what ones you haven't heard of before and which ones are just going to change the game for you completely. Starting with number 1, I'm not even going to explain what it is first, I'm just going to show you exactly what it is. Like this was mind-blowing to me when I first learned of it. Let's say I've got this motion blur and I've got my next clip that has some speed ramp and I want to copy those effects across. Yeah, I could highlight them all, Command copy, and then Command V, and then I've got to highlight them again, and then I've got to move them into the right space. Or I can just highlight them all, hold down Alt on my keyboard, and drag them over. Just copies them without having to copy and paste, select again, and then move into the right place. That one was an absolute game changer for me. So number 2 is markers and how you use them. So in Final Cut Pro, you have your plane markers, you have to-do markers, you can mark them as done, you can have chapter markers, you can have so many different types, and you can edit them to whatever you want. Let's say I want to edit my actual video to the beat of my music. I can find the ripples in my beats here, the highs and the lows, and I'm just going to select where the beat's going to drop. So I want to change the clip, just hit M on your keyboard, and then again at the next beat, and just keep doing so, and then you can easily match up your video to that because you know where to cut your shots so that it matches your beat. Another way to use these is, let's say on this speed ramping clip here, I want to add some motion blur in, but I won't want to do it until later because it might add a little bit of render intensive tasks, or maybe I want to add some stabilization. Just press M on the keyboard, double click it, and you can change it to a to-do marker. Change the name of it, press done, and then at the end of your shot, or the end of when you're done editing and you want to start working with these markers, simply go over to the index on the far left over here, and you can see tags, you can see all of your tags, and then by searching these bottom icons you can see the ones that you have to do, the ones that you've done, and manipulate them. Number 3 is corner pinning. Now this is so useful to make objects look 3D or to track an item to a subject that isn't square onto the camera. How do you do that? How do you distort an image the way you need to? So in this shot, just a normal photo, I can color grade it as I want to. I haven't done that here. But what if I want to attach a clip to the actual screen of my camera here? So I'm going to grab another clip from my timeline, so I'm going to zoom out, grab this using Alt, I'm going to drag that over on top, zoom in a bit more again. I'm going to go over to my browser on the far right side, go down to distort and click on this little icon here, and now we can start to drag around these corners. Just play with it, drag it into position, and then you can see the difference afterwards. It's almost like that video is actually on the camera right now, and you can just see it playing here. Perfect for so many things. I could change that. I could corner pin it to the camera. I could corner pin it to the trackpad here. I could even put my phone on the side and corner pin it to that. Another super cool use for this is in Sam Calder's The Creative Process video. As he's on the train, if you look at the posters on the right and left hand side of the screen, you can see that he's actually changed the posters there, and he's used this corner pinning tool to make sure that they match based on the actual look of the footage. Number 4 is labeling your footage. How do you take your timeline from looking like this and so bland to looking like this? All right, let's revert it back and I'll show you how we can make that happen. And it's all about assigning video roles to your footage. So if I right click on my shot and I click show or assign video roles, you can assign based on different roles that you create. So I've got 4 or 5 created roles here. I've got drone, GoPro, main, and vlog. And let's say those are the that's the different devices I've shot on for this video. You can also use this for, you can name them like buildings, dialogue, nature, anything like that, so that when you come into your timeline, you know what clip is designated to what. For me, I always prefer to use these based on the actual camera because I know that I'm gonna have to color grade GoPro differently to the way that I color grade my main camera, which is shot in S-Log. Once you've created the different roles that you want here, you can change the colors and whatnot. Just click apply. I'm gonna right click on my shot, assign video roles, and this is a drone shot, so I'm gonna change this to drone. So I'm gonna go orange. And then this shot on my main camera, so I'm gonna change the video roles to main, but notice that it hasn't changed color. Now the reason that is because it's got audio assigned to it. So I'm gonna need to right click, detach audio, and notice how it instantly changes. And then on my next clip, I'm gonna detach the audio because I have to, remember, assign video roles, and then it's GoPro, so it's gonna go a red color. You can do exactly the same to your audio here, although Final Cut Pro does a pretty good job of taking your different audios out. So this blue here is the main audio from my actual shots. I guess it's like a teal type of green is your sound effects, and then finally your green at the bottom is your soundtrack. Final Cut Pro automatically does this when you import, so there's no need to do that, but you do need to do it for actual video rolls. Number 5, how do you copy effects from one clip over to another clip without having to manually go and do it and go into your effects, drag and drop, go back to see what you added, what needs to change, etc, etc. I'll look at my clip here and open up my filters on the right side. What have I added? I've added some color wheels, some curves, a prism effect, and a custom LUT. We'll get into custom LUT, that'll be one of the future items here. So how do I copy all those effects over to my next shot without having to do it manually? I'll simply press Command C, go to my next shot, or a combination of shot. I can select multiple at one time and press Shift Command V, and that's going to give me the ability to paste certain attributes. So let's say I do not want to paste the prism, I don't want to paste the custom LUT, I just want to paste the color curves and color wheels. Hit paste, and now all those effects have automatically gone over to all your new shots, and you don't have to do it manually. This saves me so much time when I'm using a specific effect on my shots, especially if my main camera needs the same color grading throughout the majority of the shot. I can just look for all those clips in green and then copy those effects all the way over to those additional shots. Amazing, so freaking good. I mean, I'm not sure if you knew that one before, but before I knew that one, I don't know what I did. Moving on to number 6, so I hope you guys are just like, this is incredible, I need more. I'm afraid we're over halfway now. But number 6 are adjustment layers. These are amazing for applying the same look to all of your footage. So quite often a lot of filmmakers will make, they'll use a LUT that's a very slight color tone across the whole footage, and then go into each footage and manipulate the colors based on that. So go to your titles in the top left corner and then search for adjustment layer. Now I'll give you guys a download link in the description to an adjustment layer if you don't have one, and they're super easy to install and free to use. So just drag that on top of your clip as though you're using it like a new title, and from there you can just apply whatever effect you want to that adjustment layer, and every single clip underneath that is going to receive whatever information is in that adjustment layer. So number 7, I'm laughing because I just went, never mind. Applying custom LUTs. Now, with the new Final Cut Pro update 10.4, they gave you the ability to add your own custom LUTs in. Now, you may have your own program to open up LUTs in here, like Motion VFX or the other ones that they have. I also used to use those before I found this in the new update. And as much as they work, they're incredibly render intensive. I found this is so much smoother with the program. I mean, it's a Final Cut Pro actual filter. It's a Final Cut Pro effect, so it's going to be better than any other third-party plugin. So if you're using LUTs, I highly suggest using this and then doing your own color grade tweaking however you want to. So if I go to the effects in the bottom right-hand browser, go to color, and grab custom LUT, go to the filters in the top right, and I can add my own LUT, whatever that is, whatever ones you have. Number 8 is proxy media. Now you've probably seen a ton of videos on this, but what proxy media is you import your footage in 1080, 4K, 8K, crazy, whatever that is, and Final Cut Pro, if you don't do any kind of proxy media, it's going to try and work with those 8K files, which is absolutely friggin' nuts. And for this computer, you've got absolutely no chance. And this is a pretty freaking good computer. So proxy media takes your incredible footage, creates a copy of that footage at like super low res, but good enough that you can work with it. And that is then the files that you work with. So that when you come to export, It's going to take everything you've done with all those files in your timeline, copy it to your 8K files or your original files, and that is what that is what is going to get exported. Now there are a couple of steps to making sure this works in Final Cut Pro, so I'll leave a link in the top corner here, and you guys can follow that and look through how to use proxy media, what settings you need to change, instead of making this a 10-minute video. Number 9 are the old cinematic bars, the Peter McKinnon special, the Sam Calder special. So those cinematic bars are those rolling bars on the top and bottom of your shot that give you that cropped feeling, that cinematic feeling. So how do you do those? One, you could download one of the plugins I have in the description below. It'll be free. There'll be a couple of other effects in there, but it's from my 2019 Essentials Pack video up here for that. But essentially, it's just a plugin you drop on top of your footage and it creates a crop. Or you could just select your footage, go to the filters on the right-hand side, scroll down to crop, and then just crop at the top and the bottom based on how much you want. Now the kind of cool thing about this is that you can keyframe your top and bottom, shift along in your clip, move it up to where you want it to be. I'm going to say I want this at about 150. Then if I play my clip, you see how we have those rolling bars moving into the shot and kind of closing in. Awesome effect. And number 10, I can't believe we've gotten through all of those so quickly. But number 10 are your motion blurs. Now Peter has done countless tutorials on these, but unless you have this plugin for Final Cut Pro, it's very difficult to emulate. In this shot, for example, let's take this drone shot. We've got a little speed ramp in there, but there's no real blurring effect. So motion blur gives you that effect of that feeling of moving really fast. And when you're creating videos, you want to invoke that feeling in your audience. Once you've downloaded them, link again in the description, go to your titles and scroll down to motion blur. Now you've got 5 different ones here that you can use to layer up from minimal all the way up to maximal, and you just drag these onto your clip like you're going to use a title and then just crop them as need be. So if I press V on these to enable these clips again, you'll notice that we have a minimal going into a moderate and then a moderate into a medium, and then at the end of the speed ramp, I'll actually open up the speed ramp for you so you can see, we have medium going down to moderate and then again down to minimal. So there you have it, those are all 10 effects. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, I'd super appreciate that. If you learned something new in this video, please drop that in the comments. And if for some reason you're like, how have I not been subscribed to this guy before and this kind of content, hit that bell button for videos coming out and be the first ones on the video. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments if there's something that you want me to go over a bit more in depth, if there's something you've seen on Peter's channel that you want me to go over in Final Cut Pro, let me know. Otherwise guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do what you gotta do, and I'll see you guys in the next one.